Hello community, as you know in my last video I compared Hitman 2016 versus Hitman 2 and Hitman 3. If you haven't watched it yet, make sure to do so, it's one of my best videos by far in terms of editing and showcasing things. However, as I made my way back into Hitman 2, I stumbled onto an unlock I had forgotten all about. An unlock so powerful that IO has bashed it from existence in Hitman 3. That unlock is the Electrocution Phone. So I thought to myself, is it actually so powerful and overtuned that they really had to get rid of it completely? And the answer is a bit complicated. As I went around the regular Hitman maps, I didn't find that many great uses for it. I mean, most targets were already in trespassing and restricted areas, so the phone wouldn't do you much good as far as just a quick kill. Outside of the very accessible targets like Ken Morgan and Nolan Cassidy, there aren't that many targets you can take down with it. Now, the way the Electrocution Phone works is pretty much exactly the same as any of the other phones. You lay it down on the ground in front of a target, and when they pick it up, you ring it and it electrocutes them while keeping Silent Assassin. Now, for anyone who thinks Silent Assassin is not important, you clearly have no clue how Hitman really works on the high end. The sole reason they removed it is because of the Silent Assassin. The explosive phone is available in Hitman 3 and works pretty much exactly the same as the Electrocution version, except you will lose Silent Assassin with it. So when it comes to just cheesing a target, there are other ways of doing so if you're not worried about Silent Assassin. And as I said earlier, the Electrocution Phone isn't all that useful unless dealing with very specific targets that are out in the open and would allow you to get close to them. However, the reason it was removed was not because of the regular Hitman targets, but the ones that are a little bit more, shall we say, elusive. The elusive targets were almost always out in the open, very easy to reach and get to, meaning that the Electrocution Phone could deal with 90% of them in under a minute without even breaking a sweat. Now that creates a lot of problems when it comes to those targets, as it basically makes them completely pointless. There is no reason to learn their route or try any strategies if you can just take them all down with a single gadget. It's a very similar problem to the Molotov Cocktail, however I would argue that was a much bigger problem. The Electrocution Phone can only take down one target, and you need to be within reaching distance of the target in order to place it in front of them. However, with the Molotov Cocktail, you could launch it through ceilings and walls. You could take down multiple targets at the same time, not to mention you could activate the fire without the explosion and then pick it up and move on. It was far more overpowered because it allowed you to take care of all types of different targets that wouldn't make sense with the Electrocution Phone. The targets it could take down were far more diverse and optimal, so of course it was nerfed to absolute end. However, that begs the question, should the Electrocution Phone return in Hitman 3? And if so, should it be altered as to not be so overpowered? The answer is quite simple, yes, of course it should be nerfed. However, that's all well and good. It's easy to say that something should be nerfed. However, what would you actually do to make the Electrocution Phone less powerful, but at the same time keep it at least somewhat optimal, unlike the Molotov Cocktail, which was completely gutted? Now, one way you could solve the problem is to make it similar to a lethal syringe. Basically, during the electrocution animation, if someone sees the target being killed, you lose Silent Assassin. However, after the target is already down, if the body is found, you keep Silent Assassin. Now that could make for some rather interesting strategies where you already have a tool you can kill your target with, however all you need to do is for them to isolate themselves and you don't even need to be close to them. Jordan Cross in the recording booth, or Dahlia during the fireworks, Alexa Carwile when she enters the secret room. Those may be opportunities to strike your target down from far away, and I don't think it would be necessarily too overpowered, as it will take some work or timing on your part to be able to make things happen. Now of course there will still be some targets you can cheese in this way, but it will definitely nerf the item enough to make a difference, but not as much of a difference that you can't use it at all, like the Molotov Cocktail. And I would definitely like to see the Electrocution Phone come back in Hitman, but they'll have to find a way to balance it out somehow. Another way they can do it is by simply having it register as an illegal action when holding it or during searches. There are certain ways to nerf it without completely destroying all of its value. but it will take some creativity. Also, another thing I want to talk about quickly is I will finally be starting YouTube memberships. And for those who don't know, YouTube memberships is basically a way you can support me by clicking the join button and selecting whichever plan you may like. It's for general support purposes if you feel like it, and because it's very important for me to create a real living community, I wanted to give you something really great in the form of loyalty badges that will appear over your name. Now, a lot of YouTubers will just use their regular logo and paint it in multiple different colors. But I wanted to go further than that, just to really show my appreciation. So instead, I created these custom badges that will be received by simply being a member throughout time. There's only 7 on screen right now, but there will be 9 in total. The silver and red one is the one you receive when you join, and every 3 months you'll be upgrading to a new one, as well as custom emojis that will be coming really soon. On top of that, you'll also be getting all types of benefits, from having your comments highlighted, which would allow me to always see and reply to them, to joining me in discussions in these types of videos over Discord, where we can talk about things, as well as participating in future giveaways, voting, and early access to certain videos. Now, Hitman sadly doesn't have any multiplayer type modes, but that is something I would also love to do in the future. Also, in other news, something that I just wanted to mention in case you haven't heard about it, E3 has been cancelled once more. E3 talk about something that once upon a time used to be great. I mean, when all the main developers, except Rockstar, you had PlayStation, you had Xbox, you had Nintendo, you had everybody would showcase all of their games and all their shit, and there was so much cringe and so many embarrassing moments in E3. Just for the embarrassing moments themselves, it was worth watching E3, but it's a real shame how it has sort of fallen, E3, and it almost shows the fall of the gaming industry, because now everybody just wants to do their own thing. I mean, Ubisoft is doing their own thing, Xbox, PlayStation, everybody's doing their own thing, DC games are doing their own thing. So E3 just doesn't work anymore because everybody just wants to be on their own. And plus, E3, to be fair, hasn't been the most friendliest of places for developers. They haven't been exactly the best when it comes to actually making things happen. And a lot of the best things would happen behind closed doors. So you would actually see very little if you were just watching a stream and things like that. You wouldn't really see the best things like you would in those exclusive sort of showcases. And that was just something I wanted to mention, because E3 used to be, once upon a time, it used to be really like an incredible event. Like, that was the place to be, that was the event to be for gaming. All the great things, all the, awesome showcases of brand new games and all the gameplay stuff, all the new things of gaming were happening at E3. And it has sort of fallen completely out of relevancy in recent years, and it's just been a sad state of affair in my opinion, but yeah. It is what it is, E3 is gone, and may it rest in peace. Of course, getting back to the original topic, you can always let me know what you think about the Electrocution Phone, and if you think it should return in the future, and if so, should it return the same as it was in Hitman 2, or be changed in some ways to nerf it at least a little bit. This is more of a discussion type video, no time for crazy editing like my Hitman trilogy comparison was, because, as I said earlier, not only am I working on creating my membership program to be as best as it can possibly be, but also, as you saw from last night's picture, I'm currently grinding through Freelancer for a 100% competition review. Still, if you enjoyed the video, you can always press the like button, subscribe for more content, and until next time, thank you very much for watching.